There is a Greek philosopher by the name Heraclitus, also called by the modern philosophers as a weeping philosopher because of his pessimism, was the first one to say, change is the only constant. He said that 2,500 years ago, 5th century BCE. He said, change is the only constant. And then, of course, came Plato 100 years later, and he sort of gave a different flavor to the same thing. He said, you can never step into the same river twice, because the river is changing, constantly flowing. So the theme is that anything that changes should be looked at with some skepticism. And Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita, in the next verse, the same thing very explicitly. That which is material is never a constant. What is constant has no end, meaning it cannot be destroyed. Therefore, it cannot be material. The other flip side of this, the logic that he just presented, because anything matter is constantly changing. And he says this truth is known only by wise men. Even stone that we think is firm and it's not changing, a rock, was once basically sand. And we've heard stories about how rivers cut through stones. For instance, we all know one of the biggest gorge, the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon was cut through over millions of years by a river. Right now we call it Colorado River. So nothing material stays the same. Krishna is sort of already introducing here in the Bhagavad Gita the concept of Maya. Anything that is changing is an illusion. He says that's Maya. That includes us. Our physical appearance constantly changes and eventually vanishes in that form. So what is constant then? What pervades the whole universe is indestructible, Krishna says in the next verse. So what pervades the entire cosmos and beyond into infinity is indestructible. Says that is the only thing that is not illusion. And we will hear later on that what's in us, the definition of, or the concept of soul, is part of that which pervades the entire universe. Therefore, the soul, which may be considered an infinitesimal part of this thing that pervades the whole universe, it is also indestructible. That's what we learned in today's two verses, 16 and 17.